evening, everyone, and welcome back to FQ Racing League for round 1 of Season 2. I'm joined today in the commentary box, as always, by the legendary Finexi. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very good, thank you, mate. I can't wait for those introductions throughout the season. I'm gonna be more and more elaborate.
Well, that's the plan. I never want to downplay how lucky we are to have you in the commentary box with your knowledge of FQ, and obviously off that, who do you expect with this grid? We've got a full grid this time for Division 2. Who do you expect to be around on the money today? Obviously, this is the first race of the season, so we've got no idea how the grid's going to shape out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Alpines from preseason you have to expect to be up there, and but now we have other players as well, other drivers that are very, very good on the track. So it'll be interesting to see. It's a track that is very close for everyone. A few tenths probably will separate like a top 5 here because everything is very close. So.
Absolutely, yeah. At the moment, it looks like quali is going to be dry. Unfortunately, up in the commentary box, you have no idea what the forecast is for the race. It'd be good if a driver is watching, though, they could share that maybe with us, so we have an idea. But we do have
I
our
am
first.
still very like loud on the stream for some reason. Like
Very
it's the
loud.
same as it was. Yeah, it's the same as it was last week for some reason. I have no idea.
Okay. Um. Right.
Can you turn me that down to like 100 in Discord,
That's
just
what I'm gonna
to
do.
check if that'll do it?
Sorry, everyone, for this. I'll do 150. See how it goes.
Yeah. Okay. I'll listen in to the stream.
Okay.
Simo's saying that the race is gonna be wet.
Oh, so wet race around Monza with the combination of the low down force and the wet is always going to be problematic. So we have the first people out on track. Just going to cut down to Ecoy, who's the first man out. He's going to look like he's the first man who's going to go on a lap.
Yeah. It looked better, or it sounded a bit better now. If someone can let me know in chat as well, if it's now alright, my voice.
Yeah, I've turned you down, so hopefully it's better.
Yeah.
It is?
Yep.
Good, okay, so we're going to ride on board.
It's going to be interesting now with setups. Sorry for cutting you off there, but do you go for a wet setup to go for the race, or a dry setup for qualifying?
It also depends on how wet it's going to be. If there's only a short period of rain, that's a decision the drivers can make based off their forecast. We're on board now with Ecoy going on to his first flying lap of the season. On board with the Mercedes driver, breaks down into the first chicane very well into second gear. Very clean and tidy, good traction on the exit. So good start to the lap for the Mercedes man. I'm going to follow him until the end. His teammate and a Williams, a little bit of traffic, but he won't get put off by that. Into the second chicane, hits the apex very well. He's going to be happy with that. I think this is shaping up to be a good banker. Through the first Lesmo, and then the second Lesmo onto the back straight. Open the DRS for the second time this lap. Flat out to this left-hander under the bridge, and then into a Scary chicane. Need to be fully committed, brake at the 100-meter board, down into fifth gear, and then back on the throttle as soon as possible, and a bit of a snap. That's going to lose a couple of tenths at least, as he's going to lose all the time down this long back straight. And then we go through into the infamous Parabolica corner, braking at the 50-meter board, try and keep it tight on the right-hand side, and then get the best exit and shorten your distance to the line on the right-hand side. And it looks like it's going to be a decent lap time, decent banker of a 1:20.9.
Yeah, and of course we do have two debutants here on the grid today. 3 debutants provided by Sinner in the chat. We have Red Nova Ram in the Mercedes, then we have Quadrant and Swamp Mouth as our debutants this race.
Absolutely do, and Cody jumps to P1 then with a 1:20.8, about a tenth ahead of Ecoy in the Alpha Tauri. Speaking of Alpha Tauri, we've got AJ coming across the line. He goes P3, so strong so far for the two Alpha Tauri boys. with AJ going purple in the final sector as well.
Yep. Both Alpines on an outlap. You need to keep a lookout for them, because they might be smashing those times as Anchamit goes fastest.
He does indeed. As we're going to go on board with Golf as he's just starting his lap. We've got lap times flying in. Rob and Quad End in the Red Bulls setting lap times. Everyone's trying to find their feet, maybe getting used to the slightly tweaked setup for the race, considering we do have a suspicion that rain is inbound for that. There's a yellow flag. I think that's just people getting out the way for now.
Yep.
Of other people on laps as we continue to follow Golf, and Lance in the McLaren goes P1, so it's a McLaren 1-2 for now. See what the others can do. We're obviously looking out for the Alpine duo of Nick Fuhrman and Stevie, as they put it on 1-2 in the pre-season race last week.
Talking about the Nick Fuhrman purple in sector 1.
Purple sector 1 for Nick, so let's go on board with him. Let's follow his lap as it progresses in the Alpine, with the Renault engine, of course, as he opens the DRS down the back straight and under the bridge. Stevie in the other Alpine, just as we were saying, they're going to be dangerous. Gets a really good lap in, and Golf goes second, so some quick times, and it looks like Nick's invalidated, yeah, so it's unfortunate. Axel Ross in the Ferrari is also on a lap. He's with the next one to cross the line. Obviously, this is the home race for the Ferrari team, the unlock of the Tifosi, so they'll be hoping to have a good qualifying here.
Yep.
Red Nova Ram in his first race, 1:36.3, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was him maybe backing out of a lap, going again, because that's not quite where he'd expect to be. And Axel Ross crosses the line and goes P2, only 2.5 tenths off pole position, so that's a good lap from the Ferrari man there.
As his teammate then goes P10 with a 1:21.1, so not a bad qualifying for Ferrari so far.
Absolutely, and that's most people with a lap on the board. The main one that hasn't got one on the board, and the only one who hasn't after that first round of laps, is Nick Furyman, who we expect to be one of the challengers for pole. As we watch Simi on a lap now, he's the other person yet to set a time so far.
Yeah, obviously now for Nick it's going to be very, very mentally challenging to set that lap, because now you only have 2 attempts or 1 attempt at a lap, so he needs to be more careful to not invalidate a second lap, and it's going to be interesting to see where he comes out.
Yeah, that is very, very true. He's going to have a little bit more pressure than he would have had he nailed that lap, as you said.
Oh, that's wide.
Wide. He gets away with it in terms of invalidation, but he wouldn't have got away with it in terms of the stopwatch as he comes through into the final. Well, driving down towards the final corner, Parabolica, in the Alfa Romeo Sauber. Hooks it up quite nicely, gets on the power, stays in 6th for the traction. Doesn't decide to stay to the right hand side, but he will cross the line, and he goes P12 with a 1:21.5. So everyone but Nick now with a lap time on the board.
Eco starting a second lap as it stands. Eco has also enough fuel on board to do laps, so I wonder if that's a safety precaution or just for getting to take the fuel out, but will be interesting to see.
I don't know. I don't know how much difference the fuel makes. Maybe he thinks that he wants to do 2 push laps on 1 set of tyres.
Yeah.
That's
very, very possible. Oh, and he might have to.
It looks like he's still pushing. Despite making a trip to the gravel, he's definitely not turned off the ERS deployment, that's for sure, and yeah, he's still pushing on this lap, so maybe he didn't lose as much time as we originally thought in the gravel. But he is 4 tenths down. 4 tenths down, so he will not improve. Cody is the next one behind him, who will be setting a lap, currently sitting P8.
Oh, Rob is in the gravel. Had a bit of a trip there.
Okay.
With the gravel, but nothing major for him there.
Right. We're going to go on board with Nick Furyman, the only man not to set a lap time. And one of the favourites for pole, after invalidating what would have been his banker lap. He is under all sorts of pressure to get this one and make it stick. He goes through sector 1, see what kind of time he's setting. It's 26.6, but it's not purple according to the minimap, so he's got a bit of time to find on his teammate.
That is way slower than his first sector 1 of the invalidated lap, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's unfortunate, but he is still pushing. I think he just wants to get a lap on the board.
Yeah.
As he comes through second sector and triggers the third sector line, goes purple middle sector, so he is clawing back the time lost in the first sector. And what he's got to do now is hook up Parabolica and see where he gets in relation to his teammate, who's currently sitting provisional pole and the only man in the 119s. As Nick rounds Parabolica, crosses the line, it will be P2 and not the 119s, a millisecond, 2 milliseconds off a sub 120. So Stevie's still on provisional pole, which I'm sure he'll be absolutely delighted about, but I think that Nick lap had a lot still left in it.
Yeah, I think next man to be on board is Golf Maniac. He's 2.5 tenths up in the first sector, which would already put him into P2.
Yeah, good first sector from Golf there. Like you said, 2.5 tenths up in the Haas. Can he keep this going?
And Ekoi improved by 5 tenths on his lap, where we saw him go into the gravel, so there was a lot of time in that final sector for him.
Yeah, there was, and there's clearly quite a lot of time at that chicane if he doesn't take a chip to the gravel, so he could be a surprise entry to the fight for pole as well towards the end. He's only 6 tenths off or so, as we see Golf Maniac coming through on the exit of Ascari chicane. And then he swings the Haas into Parabolica. He was 2.5 tenths up. He was on course for a second place, and he doesn't improve. He lost 3 over 3 tenths in the second and third sectors. That's a shame, because he would have been on for a really good time there. But he has got one more chance at it if he comes in and puts on a new set of soft tyres.
Yeah, both McLarens are on laps. Red Nova has had a trip into the gravel, so he's had a bit of a problem on his second lap. He's gonna go again. He has enough fuel for it.
Our current provisional pole sitter just finished a lap but didn't improve, so Stevie will go again, try and protect that pole position. He's got one more chance to do that.
Yep.
Quad end has invalidated, and Red Nova will come to finish his lap, but it's slower than before. Oh no, he's half a tenth quicker than before, but it doesn't move him up. It looks like he might still be pushing in the Mercedes.
Yep. Swamp Mouse is on a lap. He's up on his time that he had previously. So he's looking to break into the top 10 for Williams.
Skip goes P2 in the other Williams.
From the Italian in his home race.
Absolutely, and we were watching his teammate Swampmouth coming through Ascari, and he gets it loose.
That's a big hit.
Yeah, that's front wing gone for the Williams. That's going to go towards the cost cap.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty much it for people who are on a lap and improving.
Red Nova Ram is
yeah.
Oh, he's invalidated.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be it, apart from the people on out laps. So it will be Cody, I believe, who will be the first man to start his final lap.
It'll definitely be interesting as well. Cody and Rob, father and son duo, they're going to be battling out. It's the 9 and 10 at the moment.
Yes, they are always very well matched
to get the edge over Rob here. So
they're pretty much teammates as well in the Red Bull and AlphaTauri, as close as you can get without actually being teammates. And Cody hooks the first chicane up real nice in the
A
AlphaTauri.
little bit onto the grass there, but not too badly.
Shouldn't have cost him too much time. We'll see what the sector time's like as he comes to the split. And he's very slightly down, but there's definitely chance for him to pull that back over the rest of the lap. Uses all the curb on the outside of that chicane. Into the Lesmos now. Using all the track on the entry to really maximise the minimum speed, and we're going to see his second sector time, whether he's improving. Can he put in a lap better than his dad? He's just under a tenth up, so at the moment it would be enough. He's almost invalidates, he's gone quite wide, but he's kept his foot in there. He's going to come round Parabolica, set a lap time. Can he push his way further into the top 10 and ahead of his dad? It's going to be a yes. He improves by 3.5 tenths. That's a great lap from Cody. And Ekoi was on a lap, but he has backed out.
5 tenths up as well. But
He
now he's
backed
going
out.
again.
He's going to go again. He's
But
got
this,
an ERS.
I don't think he has the ERS for another lap. Only 50%.
He might run out right at the end. We'll see. There's clearly a lot of time in the lap. If he doesn't have a trip to the gravel like he did last time.
Yeah. AJ is on a lap and improving.
Okay. The other AlphaTauri, who seem to spend a lot of time looking at AlphaTauris in this session. As he comes towards Parabolica. I need to get a pound for every time I say Parabolica, because I've already said it about 15 times and we're only in qualifying.
Yeah. And not that it's even called Parabolica anymore, as AJ goes 10th fastest.
Is it not? Is it changed?
No. They changed the name a few years back, but
sorry viewers, complete misinformation being spread by FQ League here. But yeah, he goes P10.
Now the Alboreto corner.
Ah yes, it is, isn't it? Yeah, my apologies. I'll call it the Alboreto corner from now on. As AJ goes P10, only exactly half a tenth behind his teammate Cody, so 9th and 10th, not bad.
Equally still up on his time, but he's very low on ERS, 3% going into the last corner.
Yes, he's just under a tenth up. It won't be enough to improve his position, but it'll make it safer when he comes into the pits.
Golf is again 2 tenths up.
All eyes now then on Nick Furyman, currently sitting P3 with time to find. On a lap, he's trying to dethrone his teammate off provisional pole onto the back straight.
Oh, there's a big crash in sector 2. That is a massive crash. There's an AlphaTauri out, and that has ruined Golf's lap.
It's also ruined Nick's lap as well. He's had to back out of that one.
Yeah, and Nick doesn't have fuel to go again. Axel Ross is now going. I think Golf might have the fuel to go again. Yeah,
so hopefully anyone affected has the fuel to go again. As we see Stevie managed to dodge that. He was a little bit ahead. He's starting his lap now. Currently in provisional pole by just under a tenth. Can he grow that gap and make it even harder for people to beat him? As he's down by 1.5 in the first sector. He's got to find Summit.
Improves, but stays 16th fastest.
Yeah, he's very close there.
Wait, no, my game lagged. It showed me Skip was 5 tenths up. He isn't.
No. I'm currently watching Stevie, the man on provisional pole, coming through, and he's gone purple sector 2, but he's still fractionally down on his time. He needs a good sector 3 now if he wants to improve. Alpine supremacy could lie in his hands if Nick Furyman can't get another lap in.
Yep, Skip is purple in sector 2, but it's invalidated. Oh no.
Oh, so Skip invalidates. So it might be Stevie's pole to lose now as he comes across the line. He does improve by 8 milliseconds.
Nick is also up, he's on a lap, but I don't know if he has the fuel or the ERS.
Well, he's half a tenth up at the moment. That would be enough for P2 and an Alpine 1-2, but can he make it to the end? He's gone purple and he's almost 2 tenths up. He could snatch pole right at the death, and he's invalidated the lap. Nick has invalidated the lap at Ascari again.
Sorry to cut you off, but Golf Maniac about to cross the line here. He's on a lap and he has improved. He's gonna cross the line, goes
Nice.
fourth fastest.
Thank you for that. That's a great lap from Golf. So close to getting into the top 3, but I'm pretty sure he'll be chuffed with that. And I believe that is everyone who's done a lap. Very exciting quali, and a couple drivers underperforming due to the track limits.
Yeah.
I mean, we know how brutal Ascari can be on track limits sometimes, so it's no surprise that that's the case.
Yeah. A big crash in Sector 2 as well, ruining some laps.
Yeah, Nick was one of the guys to get caught out. So was Golf, but he managed to recover and get a good lap into P4.
Yeah.
And that is your order, so when we cut to the results screen, I'll run you through it. Good quali, and if the weather forecast is to be believed, going to be wet in the race, which is going to always spice things up. So, on pole position for the first time in FQ League, we have Stevie Mack in the Alpine by 1/10 of a second to the Williams driver of Skip, and Nick rounds out the top 3 in the other Alpine, so a strong showing for that team once again. And then from 4th downwards we have Golf Maniac, Axel Ross, Lance, Rob, Ecoy, and Shamid, Cody, AJ, Swampmouth, Flash, Crayon, Simi, Quad End, and Red Nova Ram rounds out the order in 17th. So yeah, very tight quali. I mean, first all the way down to 11th, only covered by 6.5 tenths. So this is really going to be about who can keep it consistent in the race, I feel.
Yeah, for sure, and we need to watch out for especially Skip in his home race. I'm sure the fire burns within him to win it. So it's going to definitely be an interesting race, and it is a damp start.
It is a damp start indeed, looking like intermediate conditions to me.
Yeah.
So who we're going to find out now? Who went with the dry setup in qualifying in order to get up the grid, and who went for the wet setup in order to have the pace in the race, and who can make the best of their decision? That is the real. That's going to be the difference, I feel, between the drivers right now.
Yeah. As we just wait for players to ready up to get the 5 lights.
We are going to have formation lap. We're going to have formation lap.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Is it on?
Formation lap's on now, so we will have a formation lap.
Okay. Yeah. Then that's my bad. I didn't look.
It's alright. No, I think it was put on today, so that's fair enough if you didn't know. But yeah, we're going to have formation lap, and the drivers will then retake their grid positions for the start and the 5 red lights. So obviously right now, drivers probably making setup adjustments, maybe taking some front wing off to get that more confidence in the rear of the car, because that's really where this pace comes from. As we are going to get the formation underway with Stevie.
Yeah.
So looking at this grid, and you know the drivers, who surprised you in quali, and who do you think is going to spring a bit of a surprise in the race?
I think definitely my driver of qualifying was Skip. I don't think neither of us mentioned him going into qualifying, and he's put it on the front row, so I think he definitely has a strong chance from there. Also, Ecoy didn't get a proper lap in, was up by 5 tenths, and I think that was enough for a front row for him, so it'll be really interesting to see how he gets his way through the pack. Both Alpha Tauris, obviously 10th and 11th, have chances to get up the grid, but in this rain, the strategy is going to be absolutely crucial.
Yeah, as we have the hat of Golf going into the gravel at the second chicane there. I'm sure Golf will be thrilled to know I caught that all on stream. So he's going to have to catch up to the Alpine of Nick. But yeah, you are right. We didn't mention Skip, the Williams driver, coming into qualifying, and he did put it on the front row with what was a good lap when it mattered. I mean, we had people who were arguably maybe slightly quicker than him who invalidated. You know, you got to put the lap in when the pressure's on. So he did a great job, and let's see what kind of race pace he has in the rain.
Yeah. And yeah, the wet setups will be interesting. If someone has a wet setup here, they they might have a massive pace advantage to the field, but we don't know the weather forecast, so it could go dry in the middle of the race, and that's when strategy and cool head matter the most.
That is true, yeah. Keeping it clean in these conditions will put you in good stead. As we got in our drivers now parked up, our poleman Stevie parked up on the grid, soon to be joined by his teammate in third and Skip in second. As his teammate gets disqualified for jumping his mark, so he will start a little bit further back. It's not the end of the world, but it's a couple of metres that you don't really want to lose as a driver, and AJ does the same thing as two people fallen victim. Wonder if we'll get any more.
And Kaz is actually in the lobby for the race, so...
Oh yeah, he's joined the back of the grid, hasn't he? So, another couple of people disqualifying. But yeah, Kaz has joined the back of the grid in the Aston Martin, so we'll see him, I'm sure, come through.
Yeah.
As we are going to go to 5 red lights here. It's for 5 red lights. And the lights are out and away we go, and it's a great start from the Williams of Skip, and he's already ahead of Stevie as we go down into turn 1. It's not a particularly great camera angle for this. As Stevie goes down the inside, but he misses the corner. Nick also misses the corner, so Skip is going to take the lead of this race, possibly from Lance. He does.
Golf has had a problem or something. He's dropping down the order. Both Alpines are dropping down the order. And it's a dream start for Skip in the Williams. He's already a second up the field.
He is, as we've got the two. We've got the Mercedes and Ferrari going side by side. Ikoy has to take to the runoff area, and he's going to lose a position there to Axel Ross.
Again dropping down the field. He's in last place. He's had a crash with the Ferrari of Flash. So those two have come together.
Spun. That's a shame because he qualified so well, but dream start for Skip. He's already 3 seconds up the road. Well, he was anyway. He's 2 seconds now. As we have a VSC, presumably for that crash between Golf and Flash.
Yeah, there might have been some problem somewhere else, maybe? No?
Possibly. I'm trying to look at front wing damage. At the moment, it doesn't look like anyone does have any.
I think Golf might have some. I saw a lot of debris flying off, at least from him and the Ferrari. The Ferrari has an end plate missing of a Flash.
Quad end has a full front wing missing, so does Flash has half, and I believe Golf's got away with it, so we're going to see a couple of pit stops very early on here. With Stevie's got a penalty, I assume, for cutting the first corner.
Yeah. And it's a nightmare for both Alpines. Started 1 and 3 and now down in 10th and 12th. Sinis not pitted, but has braked on the main straight for some reason.
Not sure.
Rob as well getting a penalty. Wow.
Was that for multiple warnings?
I believe.
As Flash gets the same. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Because
we don't know, but it is green flag racing again, as there is a Ferrari or a Haas and a Mercedes down in turn 1.
Yeah, that
coming together.
Golf again with Red Nova Ram in the Mercedes.
Yeah.
As we then cut to our leaders.
And Axel Ross going for it. Axel Ross making the move.
Yeah, he gets it done on Lance and now sets after race leader. He's got another 3-second penalty. Only on lap 2, we're already getting these 3-second corner cutting penalties.
Yeah.
Skip leads the way from Axel Ross and Lance, your top 3, with Ikoy and Rob following close behind. And AJ also looking dangerous. We know AJ has good race pace, and he might have been one of the people that decided to go for a higher downforce setup, as we've got quad end around as well in the second sector, unfortunate for him.
As Kaz has left, I'm going to send him an invite.
Yeah, I think he's lagged there, as Skip does set the fastest lap of the race, to be expected.
Yep, but Axel Ross is holding on.
Yeah, Axel Ross is actually closing that gap. He seems to have good confidence in that Ferrari. We've got the home driver and the home team as Axel Ross is off. He manages to keep the position as Cody seems to miss the chicane and goes across and gets a 10-second penalty. We've got we've got another crash down, and it's Ange Hamid round at the first chicane, and he's trying to get that car back going again. It's absolute carnage.
Yeah.
Clearly
These
the drivers
conditions
forgot
are
where the
catching
brake
everyone
pedals
out.
are in the intermediate conditions. But the skip.
That's the other half of Crane. He's gone round as well in sector 2.
Yep, you're right. He has. Seems to be yellow flags all the time. Marshall's definitely earning their pay. Is it saying for me that Crane has his pit limiter enabled? I'm not sure if that's quite right.
Hold on.
I really hope
think
not. Anyway,
that's a visual bug, I think,
yep.
for you.
As we have Cody all over the back of Stevie, despite that 10-second penalty, but he's dropping off very quickly, and Nick catching up to the back of the other Williams of Swampmouth, see if he can get the move done and make up for that shocker of a start that both Alpines seem to have. I think they both just missed the first chicane.
Monza's going for a move on Axel Ross.
That's true, they're side by side. And they almost made
back
contact.
down the inside, and Alonso's forced wide there.
Oh, and
that is a 3-second time penalty.
It kind of looked like he was maybe hit. Swampmouth and Nick are out of the session, and there's a safety car. So what has happened to the Williams and Alpine driver there? Have they had to come in together? I'm not quite sure. Did you see?
No. Maybe on the straight then they must have had a problem or something.
Oh, as we've got a couple of pitters, Golf into the pits. We've got Red Nova not, and Shamid is. And we're going to have to see what the leaders decide to do, because intermediates will go to the end from this. Flash gets a 10-second penalty for corner cutting.
He's retired from the session as well, so...
Yeah, I can't go on board with him to see what happened because he's out, unfortunately. So this has been a real chaotic start to this Grand Prix. We're only 4 laps in, it seems like we've had a whole 100% race worth of drama.
Yeah, and we saw in the previous season Spa race that pitting on the safety cars can be the difference of life and death in these races.
Absolutely, it
can.
And
we'll have to see what the leaders decide, and that's an unfortunate penalty for Golf Maniac, who's already having a rough day.
Yeah, it's going from bad to worse for Golf as Kaz disconnects again. We're getting everything in this race. Also, something that's very. Oh, and Skip gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and so does Ecoy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh dear. As we've got a couple of people not pitting. Lance, who does have that 3-second penalty, decides not to pit, and Stevie gets one for speeding in the pit lane too.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
After 5 laps, almost half the grid have penalties, and Simi does the same thing. Everyone being caught out.
Most importantly, AJ up to P2, no penalties. Yeah,
and keeping it clean on penalties is going to be huge here, I think, with so many people already having some pretty hefty penalties. So AJ in a really good place, Axel Ross in a really good place, and if he was still in the session, which he is back again now, as I say that, Kaz, who started in 18th and dead last, is now finding himself in what I would say is a provisional 3rd place.
Yeah. But it's the question of, is it going to be intermediate conditions to the end, or are we going to get dries? Because if we're going to get dries, you know, AJ's going to have that advantage of not pitting under the safety car. Actually, who did pit under the safety car? Let me just see. So we have pitters of Skip, Ecoy, Stevie, Simi, Ange, and Golf under the safety car.
You got to remember, Quad and Golf, I believe, had already stopped before the safety car, and possibly Simi as well.
Yeah. They definitely stopped under it as well, because they were behind the pit entry as it started. So.
Okay, so yeah, they're your pitters on screen now. Skip, Ecoy, Stevie, Simi, Quad, Ange, and Golf, and everyone else is yet to pit.
Yeah.
Everyone on inters. Doesn't look like it's gonna get much drier anytime soon, although the rain has definitely eased off, if not completely stopped.
Yeah, definitely still some rain around, but as you said, it has slowed down a lot.
Dryish line forming on the track surface now.
biggest gainers in this field right now. Lance up 5, AJ up 9, Kaz, as you said, up 12 positions. So they're all going to be looking to capitalize as Crane's off the track and has lost the position to Eco then.
Has to just snatch the brakes, maybe into the first chicane.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but he doesn't have the penalty that a lot of people around him do.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the 5, and that's 5-second penalty for Simi. His severe collision with the
Mercedes is rounding.
The Mercedes is stopped on the infield of T1 as Kaz disconnects again. I don't think there's much point in rejoining at this point, but he might do.
Sounds like a name item.
I don't know. The Mercedes has just stopped on the infield of turn 1. And now he's decided to get going again. He has. So he decided to let everyone through and then go, which doesn't particularly make sense. We are going to have the safety car in, despite half the pack being not in the group. But Lance is going to get us underway at the end of this lap. He's going to back the pack up. Sorry, you go.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, if you were Lance, when do you go at this moment? It's Inters, so the slipstream is going to be very hard, very, very powerful down the straight. And do you go now to surprise them more? Wait until everyone's ready?
I mean, everyone's going to have 100% ERS, so that's not going to play a factor. I think, to be honest, as long as he gets a good run out of the parabolica. It's the parabolica.
Oh, there's a big crash behind. Someone's off the track.
Oh, it's quad end.
Quad end off the track.
It's quad end, and Lance has gone. Lance has gone, and he's not really left AJ napping. He's 5/10, and AJ will tuck into that slipstream. But I think
already made a move.
Cody and Axel Ross
to give it back, I think, because that was a bit too early.
I'm not sure. He might have done it after the line.
Ooh, AJ's wide. Everyone's wide. That first turn, catching everyone out, and we have a virtual safety car.
Not pretty, and it's a VSC, and it's a 5-second penalty for Rob for a severe collision with AJ. So he's now on 13 seconds worth of penalties. Is Rob? I wonder if he has damage. As Red Nova Ram retires from the session, it doesn't look like Rob has any damage in the Red Bull. Are we going to get VSC? I mean, it's not a full safety car, so we'll get going relatively soon.
Yeah.
As Kaz joins back, he's not giving up, despite the internet troubles. And he is, because of the safety cars and people not being able to pass his AR, he's actually still in 7th place somehow. As Ange gets a drive through for speeding under VSC. This is just penalties galore at the moment for the drivers.
We're back green as Cody gets past Ecoy immediately.
Or is that Ecoy going for a move on Cody? I think it's Ecoy going for a move on Cody, and he gets the move done. As Cody's really struggling, and Ecoy really wants to get on with this race. And it looks like there's a battle brewing behind with Crayon, followed by Skip really closely, and Stevie going for a move on Skip now.
Skip's going for it in Parabolica.
Skip on Crayon. Oh, he pushes him wide, and Stevie's going to say thank you very much. I'll have that P8, and now he's probably going to go for a move on Skip himself. These two locked out the front row, and after unfortunate starts, find themselves in the 7th and 8th. But they're still battling wheel to wheel. Down the inside goes Stevie in the Alpine. Can he make the move stick in the braking zone? Skip brakes a little bit later, and he makes the corner. Well defended as Cody front goes wide and off the track. And they'll both capitalise on that mistake. Cody dropping down from 5th after that horrible restart for the AlphaTauri driver, and Kaz also getting past him, having rejoined the session.
Yeah. Ecoy looking for a move on the Ferrari.
And Stevie down the inside of Skip, and doesn't make the corner again. He doesn't get a penalty.
Third now, because Rob went off the track.
Oh, and Ecoy's hit Robin's round, and that's front wing damage on the Mercedes. Such a shame, because he was looking really racy there. But he just got a little bit too overeager behind the Red Bull. It's not the first time we've seen a Red Bull and a Mercedes come together at Monza, of course. But this time it wasn't turn 1, it was through the first Lesmo.
Yeah.
As we have the closest battle on track is Kaz on Stevie. Kaz trying to make this miraculous drive from last As Flash has left the session, but he'd already DNF'd anyway.
He's DNF'd. Simi might go for a move into Parabolica on Cody. Not quite close enough, maybe? No. Backs out of it.
He might have him now, though.
Yep.
He's got to get...
Oh, Golf is out.
Golf is DNF'd in Ascari chicane. So the day goes from bad to worse to utterly terrible for the Haas driver of Golf. And Cody manages to keep that place from Simi.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't. He doesn't. He makes an error, and Simi just drives right on by. That's a very peculiar overtake, but Simi will not care in the slightest. We've got some very weird racing today. I'm not quite sure what I'm seeing.
Track again, Skip.
Yeah, Skip's going down the inside and gets the move done. Have we seen a normal overtake today? I don't think we have.
No. I mean, it's just everyone struggling, and I think it's the people who went with a dry setup that are struggling the most. You know, obviously you don't get the braking power, you don't get the stopping power either, as Stevie has gone past Rob as well.
Yeah. Stevie continues his recovery drive after the shocking turn 1 that him and his teammate, who's unfortunately out, suffered on lap 1. He's got up into 5th and trying to follow Skip through the field. Despite the 8 seconds worth of penalties, there's still a decent finish on, I think, for these two.
Yep, and AJ is also closing in on Lance, lap by lap.
He's got
Slowly
that gap down.
Ooh, Axel Ross, he spun in Parabolica.
He spun at Parabolica and he's trying to get the car. He's got no front wing, so he's going to have to try and get the car around into the pit lane.
Oh dear, oh dear.
He was in such a good position without the penalties, and it seems he's just thrown it all away coming out the final corner.
And that has put Skip in P3 on new tyres as well.
Yeah, so Skip's going to be rapid. We're also going to have a look, an eye on the lead battle with Lance obviously having that 3-second penalty. So at the moment, AJ is the net leader of the race.
Yeah.
After what was probably a disappointing qualifying from AJ's standards, maybe he did go for that wet setup. As Kaz joins back once again and still somehow in the 7th place. I don't know what the AI is set to. It might be 110. Who knows?
Eco's gotten past Axel Rod, who's Axel Ross, not Axel Rod. I'm thinking about Cars too. Who's pitting and coming out of the pits.
Ecoy has gone really wide. I just caught that on board with him. He's going to be absolutely fuming that I caught that. As we've got Stevie on Skip, he's kind of closing the gap. He's our closest battle on track at the moment, so we might as well follow that for a little bit. As everyone else seems to have found a bit of space. Maybe the spray, and Stevie is round as we say that. At the same place that Axel Ross lost it, Stevie is round. And he tries to get it round, he hits the wall on the inside. Oh, it's just been such a topsy-turvy race so far.
Yeah.
Mistakes on every lap. And that's
Lance
such a
has
shame.
pulled away now from AJ a little bit, and we need to definitely keep an eye on that gap.
Might as well follow our leader for a bit, as there's nothing massive going on track.
Yep, Stevie and Crane going side by side in turn 1, maybe? No, Stevie backs out of it, but Crane has gone wide.
I was going to say,
ooh, a bit of contact.
All this chaos going on behind them, the two leaders, Lance and AJ, really have kind of weathered the storm, and a really composed, mature drive from the two of them at the moment. Still only split by 1.2 seconds, so very impressive from them.
And Skip closing in as well.
Yeah, absolutely he is. As we have Crane now under attack from Stevie, and he does get overtaken, and they're both on the back of Cody.
No back end on that LP, and it's very, very slidey. Everyone's sliding a little bit. Rob has another 3-second time penalty. He's up to 16 seconds.
Oh, that's a race-ending amount of penalties for Rob, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure if he gets up to 21, that's a disqualification, so he's got to be really careful for the last 8 laps. As Stevie gets a really good run now out of the Ascari chicane, and he's right up to the slipstream of the AlphaTauri of Cody. He's going to get it done into the final corner. Is he? Cody sweeps around the outside. It's good defence. Who's going to get the better traction though? At the moment it's Cody, but that's slipstream. And they both come in. They both pit.
So just on the top 3 then, Skip last lap 7 tenths faster than AJ and 1.2 seconds faster than Lance, so he's definitely closing in fast.
Good stuff. So fastest man on track right now, Skip, the man in 3rd, with AJ also closing on Lance. They're all converging together in what should be quite a nice showdown for the win. And I tell you what, I would not want to be in Lance's shoes right now. Being hunted down by 2 incredibly good drivers. Axel Ross sets the fastest lap of the race.
If I would have to pick anyone, I think it would be AJ right now. All you have to do in this position for AJ is just not get a penalty and drive within 3 seconds.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been a very mature drive. One of the only drivers on track now. The only driver on track in the top 5 without a penalty. It's AJ. As Stevie does get past Cody down in 11th place. And Kaz gets past Simi through Ascari, yeah. So Kaz up into 5th without penalties. Net 6th right now. Sorry, net 4th, sorry, right now. Because obviously Rob's got that year's worth of penalties.
You can just see Lance pulling 4 tenths on AJ on the straights. So AJ definitely going for a rain setup in this race.
Yeah, as Kaz boxes from 5th.
Ooh.
Interesting choice. I'd have thought that those Inters, considering we've had so many safety car and VSC periods, would be able to go to the end from the start, but clearly...
Perhaps the AI has ruined his tyres.
Very possibly. Clearly the Aston Martin crew think that it was beneficial to bring him in, and he loses a position to Ange as Quadden gets his first penalty of the race. So, closest battle on track right now is the battle between Ecoy, Axel Ross, Stevie and Cody. These 4 all in a row, slipstreaming off each other, and Crayon is going to join that battle, and they're going to go side by side into T1. Oh, Ecoy has to take to the escape road, Axel Ross has to take to the infield, and it looks like Stevie, Crayon and Cody are going to profit from that. Are they all going, oh, there's contact!
Oh, there's a Ferrari and it's out. And if that's a safety car, that's going to benefit AJ.
That's going to massively benefit AJ. There's nothing as of yet in terms of Bernd Mailander coming out in his Mercedes. And the car's been cleared, so there will be no safety car. But that looked like Cody and Axel Ross getting together after Axel Ross rejoined the circuit, so no doubt there'll be some sort of inquiry into that as Kaz leaves the session again. That's got to be the 5th time. That means Ange Hamid will very shortly overtake him on track.
So out of the top 3, last lap Lance did oh my god, I should have 29.7, AJ with a 30.0 and Skip with a 29.9, so they're very closely matched in pace at the moment, and Skip isn't doing what we think he could have done. Yeah,
maybe he's thinking because of that penalty there's not much point in fighting these guys, just follow them through and take the 3rd, which he has very comfortably right now, because I think as long as all 3 of them keep it clean, it's going to be AJ's to lose. Unless Lance can find some pace and pull out 2 seconds in the next 5 laps.
Yeah, or AJ gets a penalty himself, obviously, which is it's very possible, but he's driving very well at the moment.
So we go on, so we're going to be going to lap 15 of 19 now, with AJ gaining a lot down that back straight. Now 6 tenths down. He might want to do this on track, you know. Might the AlphaTauri man. As he's pulled in a couple of tenths on this particular lap to Lance. He's tucked now in the slipstream of the McLaren. Really wants this win, maybe on track. The racer in him surely will.
Yeah.
He'll keep it very clean.
Skip as well, just not getting into the dirty air. I think you are right. I think he's just holding back now, because there's no point in trying to overtake and risking a DNF for everyone.
Absolutely, I think he'll take the 15 points right now, considering he did do that. I think if he didn't have a penalty, he'd be attacking, but with that 5 seconds, I doubt he's got the pace to pull out that kind of gap in the limited number of laps we have left. So AJ's now brought the gap down to 8/10. So is he going to pose a challenge on the last couple of laps?
It's definitely a possibility. You know, you want to have that bumper of, well, I might get a 3-second penalty, so I need to be ahead on track. You know, and it's definitely something that AJ will be thinking about, and we'll have to also be careful not to get that, but also push to get the position. So it's a bit of a 50-50 at the moment. He's been a bit slow through Ascari, and now Skip is closing in.
Yeah, you're right with that. And Skip really closing in down this back straight. He might look for the move. As AJ gets really out of shape through the final corner, almost drifting. Well, he was drifting for a second there. And the Williams is now going to have a look, I think, down to turn 1. Now, I don't really think AJ has to fight this too hard if he does want to go for a move. He'd probably be smarter, as they're both burning through their ERS, as you can see with the delta to Lance. And Skip decides to stay behind for now. But that was, I think, maybe AJ being let off the hook a little bit there with that error.
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember as well, Lance and AJ on 15-lap-old intermediates, while Skip has only done 11 laps.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe Skip's doing maybe trying the old mind punt strategy of just staying behind and wait until they make a mistake. Not trying to force the issue, but make them come to him with the tyre wear. We'll see. But if there's been a time in this race where Skip can get past, it's now. He's 4/10 behind. It's our closest battle on track. And he's dropped to 6th, but obviously the 6/10, but obviously that's dirty air. But then AJ pulls out again, so I think AJ's got it covered for now. Lance might have an opportunity to pull out that 3-second gap. It's 1.7, so he needs 1.2, just over 1.2, to pull out that 3 seconds that he has, and he's probably hoping and praying, I know I would be, that AJ himself gets a penalty.
Yeah. Or Skip and AJ go side by side. You know, that's definitely gonna, if they go side by side in turn 1, that's almost the 3 seconds right there that Lance needs to win this race.
Absolutely. I mean, these three have played it real good, especially the top two. I mean, keeping it clean when everything was going on around them. And let's just hope they keep it clean for the remaining 3 laps. Skip pulls out of the DRS, has a little look, but isn't nowhere near close enough on this occasion.
Yeah. I definitely don't want to brag, but I did call out AJ at the start of the race as a prediction.
It was a very good prediction.
Race, so
as Rob comes in.
Might just, and that's for new intermediate. So those tires for Rob are not doing enough.
Yeah, and he actually got 5-second penalty again for speeding in the pit lane. Went up to 21 seconds worth of penalties and then served a 5 seconds. So he's back down now to 16. As that gap at the top grows now to 1.8. He's so close, Lance, to getting that gap. It's almost 2 seconds now. And here comes Skip. This is going to play into the McLaren driver's hands beautifully. AJ goes defensive. Skip's trying to go around the outside. AJ has to slightly cut the Ascari chicane, and this is bleeding time for AJ. He cannot be getting involved in these fights if he wants to win this race.
Yeah. But it's very difficult now. It's 2.3 the gap. Skip is going for the move, but he's going to get the move down before Parabolica.
He doesn't really leave any space. It's literally a car's width, and that is it into Parabolica. And I think AJ might be wise to just stick behind him. He gets a good exit, does AJ. And he's going to retake the position. I think we're going side by side. This is not what he needs. He needs to tuck into the slipstream of Skip and try and use him on those fresher tyres.
This is perfect for Lance as he's just pulling away. AJ going down the inside. Makes the corner.
Yeah, he does. He gets a tank slapper.
Yeah, Skip has a little bit of a slide as well behind, and Lance now crucially 2.8.
Yes, 1/10 away now, Lance, from being in that all-important 3-second gap. 2.9 now, 2.91. It's so close for the McLaren man. AJ really needs to get the pace back on if he has any chance of winning this race. But I think without fighting, he may have just blew it.
Yeah,
it's now 3 seconds.
Yeah.
It is now 3.1, 3.2.
Lance has a bit of a moment as AJ's sliding off the track.
Skip goes by, and AJ may just right there have thrown the race away. The only chance he has now is that Skip can pull him along in the slipstream for this final lap of the race.
Yeah, but already 7 tenths behind. Those tyres for AJ are done.
Yeah.
Oh, he's sliding again. Look at that. Those tires are absolutely dead for AJ. He just needs to go one more lap on them.
He needs to stay within 5 seconds now of Skip because he's definitely lost the win. He needs to keep the second place. He's already 3 seconds down on him though, and the gap's going up all the time. And that's another slide out of Parabolica. Those tyres are dead.
Yep. And
that's 5.
I think
that's 5
he's
seconds.
safe behind, but he needs to bring it home for P3 now.
There's all eyes now on Lance. All he has to do is keep it clean and bring it home at least within 2 seconds of Skip to take the first win of the season in Division 2.
But he has the same tyres as AJ, remember, so AJ already struggling so much, 6.5 seconds behind Skip already after turn 1. And Lance has the same tyres, as you can see, very, very hard to stop the car, but I think he's got this.
He's not struggling with the rear as much. Maybe the throttle control has meant he's kept his tyres alive, but we are going to get a full wet race here. No slicks needed today. And that cap's coming down all the time, but it's just a little bit too late for Skip. If he'd got this move done 2 or 3 laps prior, it'd have been very possible as Stevie gets another penalty. That's 9 for him. It's now, look at the gap coming down, but it doesn't matter for Lance as long as he stays within 2 seconds. He is the winner of the race. As Skip gets in the slipstream, he's going to want to do it on track, but it won't matter. Down into the final corner, Skip goes down the outside. Look how much later he can brake on those new tyres. And Lance is going to just take this, I think. Because, he's very careful on the power on the exit. And he will take the win here today when penalties are served. Lance wins the Italian
AJ
Grand Prix for
15
McLaren.
Seconds behind, those tyres fell off a cliff.
They must be really shot now. And Simi, had it not been for that 10-second penalty, might have thought about taking the podium off AJ, but he does get it in the end. Simi takes P4 on track, but will be taken by Kaz, who's done an amazing job. Considering his disconnects, and he started from last place. As the next man to cross the line will be Rob.
And Hamid will take 7th. Or
I think Rob will end up in 8th after that.
Oh yeah, I've got Rob's penalties.
Yeah, with Stevie taking 7th and Rob after taking 8th and Anthony taking 6th. Cody, Rob's son, will now take the checkered flag in 9th, but Crane will jump him into P9. So Cody P10 then after penalties, 11th for Ecoy, and Quad End will round the final corner as our last finisher.
Yeah, and
what a race!
What a race! Couldn't keep up.
That is insane, and we have the Red Bull over the line in 12th place. So that was, I want to say stressful. Not stressful for us. It was entertaining for us. I imagine it was extremely stressful for a lot of the drivers out there. All right then, as we see Lance take the podium and the Irish flag waving.
Yeah, I'll ask them for podium
with the good P2 for the home man Skip and a well-earned P3 for AJ on those absolutely wrecked tyres at the end. So pretty happy podium, I think you'd say. I think all 3 of them would be happy with their position.
Yeah.
And we're going to cut to the final order. So it is Lance, your race winner, from 6th on the grid to win, and then Skip stays in 2nd after starting 2nd, and AJ in 3rd rounds out your podium finishes. Then it was Kaz, Simi, Ange, Stevie, Rob, Crayon and Cody are your point scorers today. Then Ecoy, Quad and Quad End were the other 2 finishers, and then our DNFs were Axel Ross, Golf, Red Nova Ram, Flash, Swamp and Nick. Wow, that was quite something. And we're going to take a break before interviewing the top 3. so we're back with top three: AJ, Lance, and Skip, of course. So we're going to start our interviews with AJ. Great race from yourself today, mate.
Thank you.
And it was looking like a P1 for a while with the other guys with penalties, and then your tyres seemed to just absolutely go in the bin onto the final lap. Talk us through those last few laps and what went wrong.
I actually got a puncture, a right rear puncture.
Really?
Which is horrific to drive on. I luckily had enough gap with Simi behind me, which is obviously bad luck for him, but all right for me, I guess. I really had the pace to push on. I think I could have probably taken P2. I mean, Lance, yeah, phenomenal. I think we were just in the chat saying that, we just want to bring this home, to be fair. And the both of us don't make any silly mistakes and work together. So, yeah, just unlucky I got the puncture.
Yeah, so one of our main talking points in the commentary box was strategy, because we heard that it was going to rain during quali and it was obviously a dry quali. Did you decide to go for a dry setup and maximise your quali, or did you end up with a wet setup for the race?
So I ended up with a dry setup because what we actually had was it wasn't going to rain whatsoever. It was like, the countdown time 5, 10, 15. It was sun the whole way through for the race. Even though it did have the rain picture there, I think it just like tricked us into believing it was going to be dry. But no, dry all the way through. And to be fair, I think that paid off really down the straights. I had a moment with Skip into turn last corner and then into turn one, and I think the straight line speed, helped out.
Sound well, really good race from yourself. Congrats on the P3, and to the delight of the viewers, you will be taking over from me in commentary for Division 1. So I guess they'll see you then.
Yeah, kudos, thank you.
Right, for next you want to take Skip?
Yeah. So Skip once again on the podium. This time not a preseason race, your home race, obviously. Round one. Talk us through your race and how it went.
Vai Simo, che mi ha detto?
Quando la gara. Hi everyone though.
Yeah, Simo's here as well. Do you translate?
Ho perso la gara, cioè ho vinto la gara, ma ho perso contro il limitatore dei box. Non ho nulla da rimpiangermi, ma era una vittoria e vado a casa con una seconda posizione.
So basically he was happy with the race, but he thinks he has won the race because he had the pace and everything, but he made a huge mistake with the pit limiter entering the box. So he's pretty mad about it, but second place is better than nothing. So he'll push for the win next race.
Yeah, we're sure you will. You were one of the only people pitting on the safety car. It did end up working out for you, but did you think that was a strategical mistake? Was that a call from Simo, maybe, in the box?
Riguardo alla strategia, se pensi sia stato un errore o no?
No, assolutamente no. Non avrei mai superato AJ. No, aspetta, perché stavo davanti. No, è stata la scelta giusta, visto che ho tagliato il traguardo per primo, ma è la gara, quindi va bene così.
Yeah, actually it was a call between us, so we both decided to make him pit, and we both think it was the right decision because he ended up crossing the line first, so it was only the mistake about the pit limiter, so the strategy call was actually good, and he did that paid, but yeah.
Yeah, you definitely had the pace today, Skip. Well done, congrats on the podium.
Grazie e congratulazioni a Lance che ho visto parla italiano. Ho usato il traduttore o...
Okay. Right, so I'll now interview your race winner, Lance. An incredible showing. You just seemed to keep it clean when everything else was going off around you. A hectic race, but for you, it probably didn't feel as easy as it looked from the commentary position. Talk us through your race and how you managed to kind of seemingly easily just saunter to a win.
I mean, had a few issues in qualifying. Really wasn't my day in qualifying. Didn't feel comfortable in the car. I had some issues on the last lap, so I think it was like 5th starting off. Set off the line. Had a kind of a mare of a time coming in. I thought I braked in time, but it looked like everyone in front of me went straight on. I ended up 2nd coming out of it. And then Skip was out in front. He was hammering away. There was a safety car somewhere there, and he dived in, and I figured that was the wrong idea. And I stayed out, and AJ appeared behind me, and it was just a case of once the safety car restart happened, I just kind of tried to push a small bit of a gap and then held that gap as much as I could because I was so scared that I'd be putting it in the barrier. So I was driving as lightly as possible and trying just to keep it on the road, and thankfully I did. But it was definitely not easy.
No, I'm sure it wasn't, and in those conditions, it was a very, very impressive drive for yourself. So, congrats on winning the first race of Division 2 this season.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay then, so that's it for Division 2. Join us back again at 8:30 for Division 1, where AJ and Simi will, as usual, take post to replace myself and Phenexi, who will be racing, so doing a full-on swap. And thanks, Phenexi, as usual, for joining me today.
Yep.
And I look forward to next week, where we'll be doing the same again, but this time it'll be around Miami, so another track where a lot of drama.
Oh yeah, Division 2. Oh my god.
Yes. So Division 2 Miami next week and Division 1 Singapore. Okay, so thanks for watching and see you in about an hour's time.